Hey guys, welcome back. This episode is number 4 of E4 shows off their error cards. We're going to go back to the thread. We're going to continue on, take a look at what people have posted. This first one here by Hoax caught me off guard for a second, not only because of the partial stamp here for the pre-release, but at first I didn't notice that it wasn't an English card, and I was wondering, like someone in the thread, why there was a first edition stamp missing. But unlike English, other languages apparently had the Aerodactyls that were not first edition. So if in English, this would be a huge anomaly, not only for the fact that the stamp is not completely on there, but also that they stamped a card that wasn't first edition, or forgot to stamp one, or something along those lines. But it's okay, crisis averted. We just have a weird stamp or partial stamp for the pre-release there. All good. Brindlebull says, was curious if something like this on a card is any type of error or just damage. So typically you got to be a little bit careful of revealed holo on a card. Mostly because someone could put acetone on it and it pulls off the ink, but does not pull off the foil, so it'll reveal the foil, and that's what we see here. The only thing that leads me to believe that this is probably an actual error is the fact that we see partial ink there. Typically with the acetone, you'd rub it off and it would remove all of it, or at least be a smudge rather than just kind of like a partial yellow, partial blue here. It's hard to tell with the blue, but the yellow does look like it's at least partly there. So I don't know, it could be something to do with there was chemical or something that prevented the ink from bonding in one of the layers here. Again, I have to take a look at it, but always be extra cautious when you're looking at stuff like this, because there's a lot of room for people to create these things. DJ Gigabyte, if you haven't, check him out on YouTube. A few of my errors. Let's start off with this one, which I never did find out if it was a genuine error or sun fade. Picked up years ago for a small amount on the off chance. So just at first glance, this definitely looks like a sun fade. You can see that we lost all of the yellow, which is the first color that leaves the card, and then even the red and the brown here are faded. We still have some blue, and the black is going to be the last card that's going to, or less ink that's going to leave the card. So eventually, if you leave it in the sun long enough, you're just going to end up with black. But they do kind of leave one color at a time. I have some videos on that if you haven't seen them. Under the microscope, looking at some sun faded cards that were provided by Silver Snorlax from E4 as well. B-Bone has a Charmeleon ink blot misprint. We got the long distance shot here. So this happens every now and then. It isn't something that's particular to the Charmeleon. Just sometimes you get these little smoochy woochies on anywhere on the card, really, on the front or the back. I don't know, that might be something chemical related as well. Tony here shows us a very, very shifted holo Aerodactyl. A lot of times when you do see the holo shift, it's only a little bit. This one might be one of the most prominent that I've seen. Pretty wild. Also really cool. So this is just in the printing process when they have it mapped out. The areas where the Pokemon is placed, as you can see the outline here, will have a layer put on so that there's no holo showing through. But in this case, they weren't aligned. So you can see the outline of the Pokemon in a different spot. Megacon shows us this Clefable. He's got like a partial stamp here, so I don't know if the foil that's applied was low. It'd be nice to see this kind of up close and personal to see if it actually has all the divots properly. So maybe it didn't stick. Maybe the foil was messed up and it didn't get in there. Or maybe the pressure itself wasn't properly applied to this one. He's also asking why they're usually in terrible condition. This is notoriously hard to grade. I believe it's something to do with the corners here always have this whitening. So that's just something that's going to be around with the card. Not to mention if it's played or handled in any way. There's a lot of exposed holo foil here, so scratches would become prevalent as well, or print lines or anything like that. Hoax shows us some hollow shifted tops cards here. I don't think I've ever seen these hollow shifted tops cards before, but I don't really pay much attention to tops. As a kid, I just remember that was always the alternate option. If they didn't have Pokemon cards left at the store, this is what you ended up with. I don't know if they were more. I would imagine that these were a less expensive option as well, but they certainly weren't the preferred option by any means. So still Pokemon on them, still great, but they weren't the TCG. They weren't what everyone was after. All right, Blue Gardenia 76 is going to show us this miscut here. Very miscut. We got the whole next card on there. Very cool to see this. I would imagine with any TCG or anything like that. I guess not TCG, just collectible card. Not even really a game. So, all right. So we got a Dark Slowbro here. He's got all kinds of extra black ink. I don't know exactly what happened in the process here. Too much black ink. There's like a weird slash here where there's no ink. So just poor quality control. I think this might be a thing as well with some of the Rocket cards where they accidentally have too much going on. Cinnamon Bun got his Lily full art with no texture back from PSA. There's no designation or anything on there, which you can't really expect, but very cool. I got a 10. And important to note that he is also looking for an Acerola and Lusamine. If you have one, make sure to reach out to him, either in the comments or if you want to jump onto E4, either the Discord or the forum. I'm sure you can find him. Mr. Gumb OC has a Clefairy for us here. Very thick bottom on that. Very thin top. Probably more than you usually see. It's not too often you see these alignment dots on base set cards or shadowless cards or first edition cards. Alright. Pokemoke has this Mewtwo from Shining Legends. Very miscut, very sideways. Pretty neat. You can see the next card here. You can see the, I think some people pointed out that the rocks, that you typically couldn't see the entire rock. You get to see the edge of it. The only time you'll ever get to see the edge of Mewtwo's rocks. Pretty cool. You get the regular and the shifty boy, or twisty boy, I guess you would say. Very cool that the back has the same twist. I don't know how this would ever get past quality control. If the sheet actually went in sideways, or like at an angle, that drastically angled, but it'd be cool because whatever products this came from, the products from the same boxes or cases probably had a similar issue, because I would imagine there was a full sheet that would have been off by this much. Whether or not they caught all of them except the Mewtwo is a different story. DPL1 is hoarding Dark Persians with the no HP error. So you see at the top right here, we got no HP, and it looks like he's been grading them. Some people caught on to the fact that the population report was growing, and probably for this reason. Although, I don't know, these look like they're mostly older certs, older labels. So maybe not. Maybe there's someone else out there with this many. So it looks like he has 7 in the picture, and he's gonna have an 8th coming. I think there's only one PSA 10 of those, if I'm not mistaken, or it hasn't changed. Quador says, some errors I recently bought, of which the last one arrived today. So very cool. We got the WB stamped Mewtwo, a little bit hard to see here, but it's on the wrong side. It's supposed to be up here, but got put in upside down when it got stamped. We have a blank card. Again, be careful with the blank cards. A lot of this, especially the hollow foil ones, people can remove the stuff off of them with with acetone. These might be a little bit more safe because you'd risk damaging the white layer here underneath a non-hollow card. But also, even if it has the border, someone could mask that off and try to do shady things with it. This Ghastly if it wasn't so shifted, I would be more concerned. But at the same time, I'd love to see this in person and see to make sure that the ink that is overlaid on the back of the card here is actually what it's supposed to be, rather than just maybe somebody putting a card in upside down and printing a Ghastly on top of it. But I would say that this is probably, Quadar probably knows what he's looking for here, and I would think that this is a real thing where the sheet just got put in upside down. I don't know what's on the back side of this. If there's nothing, be interesting to know, or if it has another back on the other side. Because if it got put in upside down, you would think that it would have been just printed on the one side twice. I'll have to ask next time I talk to him. Queen Drafloon says, not sure if this is an error or what exactly, but I have an otherwise unremarkable Pant Jam card with a crimp at the bottom, some sort of machine miscut. So this isn't a machine miscut, as we've seen recently in the opening videos on the channel, if anyone's tuned into those. This is known as a crimp. So basically, the card got in the way when they were sealing the booster pack. The top and the bottom, you'll see they have ridges kind of like this, where it heat seals one side of the booster pack to the other. And in this case, the Pancham was shoved out from the other cards, probably. Sometimes multiple cards can get stuck and crimped, but usually it's just one card, especially if it's this prominent. And so the booster pack, in this case, might have been partly sealed, just because you don't have the full crimp on the bottom. It's about twice as long if you have the full thing. So it might have been very easy to open on the bottom. And sometimes when the full crimp and the card gets in the way, it prevents the pack from sealing altogether. So it's just an open pack. Gives that little zipper look to the top or bottom of the cards. Tony is back. He has the slash fossil Krabby here. The fossil symbol has a gash through it for some reason. Not sure exactly why this happened, what went on that was reproduced, but it was. And then he has the reverse execute from Legendary Collection. Here, this is the corrected version, which I think they made even worse than the original, where the dots, the open area where the energies go were not aligned with the energies themselves. And I'm pretty sure this version is also more hard to come by than the other one. Again, we covered that in an error video for Legendary Collection. I can't remember if it was combined with anything else. And last but not least, we have Stealth Shot 24. It's going to show us a Raichu, which is most certainly fake. So we don't even have hollow in the background here. We have sort of a weird wavy pattern going on. It almost looks like he's misaligned. But yeah, that is a fake card, as PFM, I think, pointed out right after this was posted. Fake Raichu. I think they were asking why it was non-hollow, maybe at the bottom. Also important to point out that I think PFM pointed out the color on this card here is off. It's hard to tell in photos because, especially if you don't have a real card next to a fake card. As I've said a million times, the easiest way to tell if you have a fake card is usually just take a look at the back. If it's way glossier, if the color is purple or whatever instead of blue like it should be, if you look inside the P here with any sort of magnification, or even if you look at it really close, the dots that are in there are almost sort of a checker pattern, and if that checker pattern isn't a checker pattern, you have a fake card. I think also it was pointed out that the Minccino up here is fake. It has 600 HP or something like that. Usually typos, like really bad typos, or the wrong Pokemon name, or like really large attacks or HP. Also, the fact that Minccino is a tiny Pokemon, but it has a 5 retreat cost is a dead giveaway that you get a fake card up there. And then a lot of times, this is why I would make the argument that fake cards are bad. Even if you don't have the intention of selling them or whatever, somebody's going to end up with them eventually. Maybe they sell it, maybe they hand it off to somebody else, and then somebody finds out, like, oopsie doopsie, I have a binder full of fake cards, or half my cards are fake, or whatever. Told someone the other day that one of their cards was fake, and they were very upset. Hopefully they didn't pay too much for it. But yeah, keep an eye out for that stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the links in the description. Join the Discord. Bye-bye.